week. Yes, people, welcome back to the Shutter Talk podcast. I'm Ben, joined by
Amy.
There we go. What's that? Third time lucky. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited.
Yeah, this is different. This is different. I mean, I don't know how I feel about it, but I mean,
It's taking a few tries.
we'll get to grits. We'll get to grits. We'll get there. So if any of you don't know, we run BA Media Studios, which is a photography company focusing on non-league football, covering all angles of the game from the pitch to the changing room, everywhere, anything you can imagine, we cover it. Today we're just going to talk about basically how we started this, why we started this, where we are today, and how we got to where we are today. Hope you enjoy. So obviously, as previously mentioned, I'm Ben. I kind of handle everything from behind the scenes as well as some hands-on photography tasks and games and whatever else. Probably progressing more into the photography aspect of things now rather than back room, I would say. I mean, obviously, when we started this, it was more for your sake, which is obviously what we'll get onto soon in your kind of love for photography, which I'm very grateful for your passing on of your love.
Dragged you into
cameras.
it.
Yeah, sounds about right. But yeah, I mean, obviously, it all kind of started from me playing football from when I was younger, throughout my whole childhood, really kind of going up and down the country, here, there, and everywhere. And it kind of got to the point where it was a bit no longer viable, I should say, to be playing football full time because I need to get a job because I'm getting to the age where I can't be unemployed playing football on a weekend. So obviously we kind of packed that in, nip that in the bud. And yeah, I mean, yeah, like I say, I do more of the backroom aspect of things, but I'm gradually getting more and more handy with a camera.
Definitely.
But through the teaching of yourself, I guess. Right. Do you want to go to you then?
So I've been taking pictures since I was probably 6 or 7.
The fact you can't remember the age probably does say it all, doesn't it? Yeah.
I was always focused on more landscapes, like definitely like landscapes, flowers, birds, you know.
Yeah, everything other than what we
Easy
do now.
things like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
really.
yeah.
And then I was in an admin job that I didn't love so much. It wasn't fulfilling enough.
Well, it, at the start you liked it, but it kind of got a bit the same.
It got to the point where I was like, I just want to be doing more. I want to be out more. I want to be more involved, type thing. And obviously, I met Ben, who's super into football. And I really wanted to turn photography into something that I could do full time because I was super passionate about it. Obviously, you've got the business head. So you kind of gave me a push. And obviously talked to me about football. Obviously, I didn't really know anything about football. So Ben took me to a few kind of lower league games, didn't you?
Yeah.
Kind of walked me through how they work, what kind of things people want pictures of.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it's just been growing, really. There wasn't too many photographers on the scene, really, was there?
Yeah, that was a kind of niche that we went for, wasn't it? It was also when I was playing football at a low non-league standard. I wasn't exactly Cristiano Ronaldo. It's Thanks for that. Thanks. It wasn't a massive thing in the space of photographers, but it was something that a lot of people would want and need. And with the growing of social media around clubs, I mean, it's a massive help for a club to have a personal photographer in player recruitment, social media growth, fan retention, everything. Really, it helps in all aspects. So it was definitely something we saw, and I've been thinking about for a while. But obviously, when it got to the point where I couldn't do football anymore, really, it was just kind of like an obvious thing to try.
Little gap in the market.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it was just an obvious thing to try. I mean, it's been going a lot better than we expected so far, hasn't it? It's a lot better, which we'll touch on a bit later. But yeah, like I say, it's all kind of started from you and your photography passion.
Obviously, I had to teach you a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, you still are teaching me. We're getting there, aren't we? We're getting there, but I say we're not too bad now.
Not too bad. I think we're doing a lot better than we expected to be.
Yeah, 100%.
Like I think we thought we wouldn't be at this point so soon.
Oh no, 100%. Yeah, no, it's been a bigger growth than we thought it would be, and rapid. But it just shows how big of a thing it was needed to be, if that makes sense. And
how many people actually wanted it?
Exactly, that's what I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's always been something that's been missing. I can never really work out why, if that makes sense, because obviously a lot of people do it for hobbies, and free work, which once again we'll touch on later, and it is a good way to start. But it's a lot easier to monetize than you think. And if you really, really love it, then it's definitely a lot easier to monetize than you think, because, I mean, like, you know what they say, the classic saying, pick a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah, literally.
That's where
but yeah, I mean, the passion definitely helps.
Exactly, that's what I mean. It's just, it doesn't feel like work, if that makes sense. At the minute, it just, yeah, you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, get in, I get to take photos today. You know what I mean? It is a good thing.
But I think it helps because obviously you have to be social, you have to be able to network.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And because obviously, like, I'm so passionate for photography, but because you know how to network with people and you know people who are in the football scene, it was a bit easier, I would say, for us to kind of get the ball rolling a bit.
Yeah, no, it just gives that kickstart. And I mean, networking in photography in general is actually massive. We'd be nowhere near where we are today without both of us and our networking. I mean, you kind of you don't give yourself the credit you deserve with your networking skills, but genuinely, without networking, we would be nowhere near where we are today.
Yeah, you really have to be able to talk to people.
Whether that's through photography online, speaking to photographers online, photographers you meet at games, managers, backroom staff at clubs that you take photos for, everything. You never know who's watching and who you're actually talking to. Could be talking to anyone. They could have any sort of role in a club that could bring you an opportunity, if that makes sense. So never turn down an opportunity to network someone. It is what I kind of say, and that's what I kind of live by. Once again, I mean, I keep saying it, but we'll touch on it a bit later. The whole networking side of things, but the opportunities it's brought us is ridiculous. Like playing at Wall, taking photos, at Wolves Stadium, Premier League Stadium, Derby Stadium, etc. The list goes on. The opportunities we've had, and what we started this in February.
Yeah, February.
It's crazy. Premier League stadiums, Championship stadiums.
We've done YouTuber matches as well, big YouTubers.
Met big YouTubers and more than networked with a lot of big YouTubers and TikTokers and celebrities and everything like that. I mean, the people we can name drop right now is just ridiculous, isn't it? It's just ridiculous. But I mean, stay humble. It's the first episode, don't, but I did speak to Peter Andre's son, but we'll skip past that.
Did take pictures of Dave, but we'll skip past that.
The list goes on, but we won't mention that. So I mean, starting kit wise, what let's go from here then. What did you start with? What was your first camera and or LEDs? I think it was all in one, wasn't it? It was all in one.
Yeah, so it was actually a camera you bought me for my 18th birthday.
It was, yes.
So obviously that's yeah. So I had a Lumix DC Vario, however you say it, which is a pretty standard, simple.
Yeah. I mean, I brought it when I didn't know anything about cameras. It said big lens, and I thought yes, but it was built in.
Had a built-in lens. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the built-in lens obviously was quite a big zoom because it's built in, but it did the job for what we needed.
Yeah, I mean, to start with, to build that free portfolio, you can even do it on a phone if you really want it. You can do it on anything. It's just getting out there and pushing. I think it was 250 quid. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Cheap, standard, but did the job.
Exactly.
Started us off fine.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
And then I got a Canon 650D.
Yep. Yes. 650.
We branched out and got a 2.8 70 to 200 millimeter.
Yeah.
lens.
Well, I want to touch on that actually because the importance of that was ridiculous with when we got it. Also with the night games.
Oh my god! The
night
difference.
Football photography for anyone out there who's looking to kind of get into photography or sports photography, shooting a night game without a 2.8 lens. Describe it in one word.
I literally can't. It's
nightmare.
A nightmare, absolutely.
Honestly,
Actually, I did have what was my other lens? It was a 6.3. Trying to do night games
6.3
on it, my little black one.
Oh yes, yeah.
Trying to do night games on a 6.3 which, if you don't know, basically means it doesn't let much light in. So doing a night game,
exactly,
on a
because
lens that doesn't let
the
much
lower the
light in-
aperture, the more light it can let in. Hence, the less blurry
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
more defined a picture is. Yeah, no, it's crazy. So the difference that made was for our photography journey was
Insane.
ridiculous, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
70 to
ridiculous.
200 is quite a universal lens, so you can use that in the day as well because that can zoom a fair bit with the 200 millimeters. Yeah. So what? So we went 650D, 7200, 650D wise. What was your thoughts on the general settings for that? 'Cause obviously, it's not a massively high. I don't know what you'd call it, shutter rate, if that makes sense. So obviously, I think that's 7 photos per second. I could be wrong. I think it's 7 or 10.
Which at a football game is slow.
Exactly, it's difficult because you do miss a lot of passes, quick movements, stuff like that. How did you find? Was that obviously because upgrading from the Lumix that was even slower? Was that sufficient for you? Did you see the difference? Did it make you think, wow, okay, this is big time now, even though it's not exactly a big time camera? What was your thoughts when you first used it?
Yeah, I mean, going from a Lumix to a Canon,
Yeah.
I at the time was like, this is life changing.
Yeah, no,
I was like, you know, comparing photos, I was like, it's so much sharper, it's so much cleaner.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the lens, I was like, the zoom's so much better. And at the time, the shutter speed, I was like, this is great. It's like I'm getting 7 photos of this guy running past me. Like, you know, I thought it was insane. And to be fair, I mean, I used it for, most of this time, right? Most of these months I've used that camera.
Yeah.
So it did me really well. But it just got to the point where I was like, I need it to be faster.
Yeah.
I need it quicker, and I need these settings to be even cleaner.
Yeah.
Because we were getting to more, not big time, but we were doing more and more.
We weren't doing free work anymore, I think is what we're looking for. Because so when we upgraded to the 650D, we were still doing free work to upgrade our portfolio.
Yeah.
And building that portfolio, and also you getting the 650D allowed me to then use the Lumix to start building my portfolio,
for sure,
which is how I started kind of delving into the world of actually taking the photos, not just sorting out the games and doing everything that's easy.
Which I'm not going to lie, I think having you join into taking the photos has made such a difference.
Yeah,
because it means that we can do more, but also we've actually learnt from each other.
Exactly.
Like, you've taught me stuff that I didn't know.
100%. I mean, yeah, having someone that you can kind of work off of and bounce off of and ask questions and research things with does 100% happen. I mean, it's a blessing really that we're in that position, because obviously a lot of people aren't in the position where they have someone close to them who can kind of help them and talk them through taking photos and everything that kind of goes on around that. But yeah, so obviously I started with that Lumix, then passed it on. Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting experience with you having a better camera than me, and me kind of being on the lower end with the camera. But obviously, it's what you need when you start. You don't want to go into too big and get too complex, etc. Start to try and master the whole manual mode on that, like you had. Got to grips with that, and then once I had kind of mastered that, we started to get a bit of paid work in. Started to get some free paid gigs. Sorry, not a lot. We were still doing a lot of free work to build this portfolio and get the portfolio up to scratch for the new season. But we were really getting there with the paid work. So an offer come up for a Canon 1DX for a bit of money that we had earned from the profits, and we decided to cave and invest. So
that was like next level excitement.
The feeling on that first game was ridiculous, because that is, I don't know if it would be classed as an elite camera anymore. Back in the day, it was definitely an elite camera, but it's definitely in the upper echelons of the cameras. Yeah, the difference it made was just ridiculous. I mean, 14 photos a second. Sorry. The ISO can go up ridiculously high. So for night games, you're absolutely laughing. Obviously, night games are usual 70 to 200, and we'd kind of rotate between who does each night game, because I mean they're not exactly the most fun to do. But you know, we get there. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the 1DX was just unbelievable,
especially compared to what we were using. It was literally like levels above.
1,000,000%. And then when I got the 1DX, obviously I needed a lens. and a certain friend of mine, Mr. Glenn Alcock. I'm just going to give him a shout out because honestly, that man, we would be nowhere near where we are today without him. Would you?
No.
You'd
He's
agree?
been such a big help.
Honestly, taken us under his wing since the very start. Genuinely, absolute lifesaver. So thank you, Glenn. And Glenn actually offered me his 150 to 600 millimeter f 5.6 to 6.3 lens, Sigma for free, completely free of charge. Honestly, I was lost for words. I couldn't believe it. So to this day, massive thank you to Glenn. Genuinely, big shout out. Go drop him a follow on Instagram if you can. Drop him a nice comment about his work. Say Ben said thank you, please, because honestly, that man, unbelievable. We'd be nowhere near where we are today without him. Genuinely unbelievable. So yeah, but that lens completely transformed it as well, because the Lumix, I believe, was a 1200 millimeter lens, which is ridiculous, but the quality on that wasn't good.
It's like we wanted that zoom lens, but on a higher standard camera.
Exactly. And also a Sigma lens isn't like top tier quality. It's not like a Canon lens quality like the 70-200, but it's still very, very good quality, and it's just unbelievable. So that completely changed the game. And from there on in, with you with a 650D and a 70-200, and me with a 1DX and a 150-600, and also rotating between each other, letting each other use each other's kit, etc., etc. That's when we noticed a real growth, and that was at the end of last season, which is a 23 to 24 season. We started to get a lot of paid work, like weekly paid work, which was way better than we thought we would be getting. And that's mainly from our portfolio. And then we got offered with the National Youth Football League to do a game at Northampton Stadium, which you actually felt ill right before, didn't you? Yeah, you were ill right before.
Yes, I did.
And that was through Glenn once again. What a man. But yeah, so that was through Glenn once again. Glenn managed to sort that for us. And then on the back of that game, they thought we did well, which was good and nice to hear. So then we got to go to Derby County Stadium.
That was really cool.
Ex-Premier League stadium, like very, very big stadium, which was a really good experience and a good learning experience, I think, because obviously your settings and your lighting and everything is completely different in a stadium, isn't it? And it was all black seats, so obviously all the background's really dark and you have to kind of adjust that. So it's a really good learning experience for us. And then also we then got to do a Wolves game as well, which I think you were ill for again, weren't you?
I'm ill all the time.
I think you were. No, I think it was that time of year. I think you.
It was just the time of year. I was getting ill all the time.
Ridiculously amazing experiences, but you got the Derby, which I think
the Derby game was insane because that was the first
penalties as well, didn't it?
Yeah, but that was like the first proper stadium I've taken pictures in.
Exactly.
So for me, that was insane.
100%. So yeah, then obviously I did a game at Wolves, which was mad once again. That was for Liverpool and Bolton College in the National Youth Football League, which, I mean, it's an unreal experience. You can't really. All I have to say is that I took photos at Wolves Stadium. You can't really describe it anywhere else. You can't put it into words. It is just I think that was after 3 months of picking up a camera for the first time for me. That is just.
You've done so well.
I mean, so have you.
No, I know, but considering you had no experience, it's insane. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, to an extent, but I feel like it's completely different doing what you were doing before to football. So we were both kind of in the same position.
Yeah, this is true.
That makes sense.
I was learning as well because I'd never done any sports. That's what I mean.
It is a completely different experience. Like, it's but yeah, so we did that game at Wolves, and then we did a YouTube again, didn't we? We did that game awareness.
Andy's Man Club.
Yeah, that's the one.
That was really cool.
Yeah, no,
really
that was mad. Give me some of the names. Who was there? Who was playing?
Who have we got? We got Angry Ginge was there. Danny Aarons was there.
Yeah.
Oh my god, who else was there? Cole Anderson was there.
Yeah, Callow Dragon.
There were so many.
That was mad because we were meeting those kind of people as well. Then though. We were actually interacting with those people and networking with those people to a point where I don't know. It was just mind-boggling to an extent. Was it? Like, I wouldn't say I was starstruck, but you just kind of think like, how is this photography for non-league ended me up networking with these kind of people who I watch?
Yeah, it was so
growing up.
surreal. Like, because you'd think it was like this big, oh my god, YouTuber charity match, this is a really big deal, which it was, but when you were there, everyone was just so chilled and so nice and so friendly, and we just like walked in, we were like on the pitch with them when they were taking pictures, we were like walking across the pitch when they were doing their warm-ups. I mean, you got a picture with Danny Aaron's because your picture was on his t-shirt.
Yeah. A picture I took at Danny Aaron's previous celebrity match, which I did. Got painted on his shirt, and I got a picture of him with it. That was quite cool, to be fair.
But it was just surreal, like talking to these people. It's so weird, like seeing people that you watch and then you meet them, and you're like, it's just so strange.
Yeah, it doesn't
having
feel
conversations with them.
It's hard to describe because it's not a starstruck feeling. You're not there like, oh my gosh, but you're almost like, how is this photography led me here? Strange. Like, this is not what I expected it to lead me, if that makes sense.
And because there were fans all around the pitch as well.
Oh yeah, I think they had over 1,000 people there
at and everything.
Pitch. Yeah, it was big. It was big. And I mean, yeah, that was one of the first games I did with the old 1DX. I think because I done a couple at the stadium, and I did that, and yeah, it was a mad experience.
And we met other photographers, didn't we? We did networking there with other photographers
exactly.
too.
Once again, the importance of networking is crazy. Like, the photographers we met at that event were great.
Yeah.
And it's just, networking in general, it just gets you so many opportunities. Like, all the things we listed off, if we didn't network with different organisers of the events, different photographers, etc., we would never have got any of these opportunities at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
Not at all. But yeah, like I say, it's one of those things you don't realise how much of an effect it will have on. I call it a business, but it doesn't feel like a business on the journey. I think it's a better word for it. The effect it has on your journey as a photographer is just crazy. Networking is probably the number one thing. I'd say you can be bad at it with the camera, but if you network well, you'll get the opportunity still, and you'll get the opportunity to improve then and ask questions off of people who know the answers to nearly everything that you need to know.
Which definitely takes time to get used to.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, for me, networking with people is quite difficult.
Yeah.
Because I have to push myself to go and talk to people.
Yeah.
But now that I've done it, like when we do some of our games, I'm like, hi, how are you? Like,
no, that's what I mean.
How's the warm-up going? Like,
exactly.
You just talk to people like normal.
Yeah, no, and you've done so well in your social development, I guess you could say.
I'm a lot more confident in talking to people
100%. You've done so well with that, and that's, again, one of them things that comes naturally from doing it.
Yeah.
And kind of pushing yourself outside of that comfort zone, which is such a big thing in photography in general as well, kind of just pushing yourself. And even if you don't think you can do something, I mean, this is going to sound really corny, but even if you don't think you can do something, you 100% can. You just got to tell yourself you can. And if you believe it, then it will happen.
Yeah.
It's one of them cringy sayings, isn't it? But it just is true. And it's one of the biggest things that we found out. It's just pushing yourself. And anytime you think you can't do something, you probably can. That's probably a sign that you can do it.
But I'm not going to lie. I think football is actually a good sport to do photography in, because, I mean, most of the time, no matter what your pictures look like, they will get posted.
Oh, 100%.
Like, people like to post pictures of them playing football in their 100%. Kit, scoring a goal, doing whatever.
But this is what I was saying about it being such a niche, though, is people just don't get pictures at non-league and low levels of youth football or anything like that. It's just, unless you're in an academy or you're an elite tier of non-league, you don't get the pictures. So when you do, people just post everywhere, show everyone, and the exposure it gives you as a photographer is just crazy. Like, people don't realize when they even just put in a picture on your story, it just helps you as a photographer so much, because people see that, and footballers follow other footballers, club managers follow other footballers, club managers follow other club managers. The word of mouth from social media nowadays is just crazy. So if you can get your pictures posted, or you can do a game for free, do a game for free. If you're about and you're not doing anything, do a game for free, because then the exposure it gives you, even if it is just a very, very low league village team, it doesn't matter. If people post it, people see it. And if they ever need a photographer for anything, or a videographer or anything like that, they'll come to you because they know you.
Which we've experienced that.
Exactly, because I feel like a lot of people now know of us, and we've kind of made our mark in a way. That locally, I mean, I feel like a lot of people do. Obviously, there's other photographers who have been about way longer than us, and people go to a lot more. But it's getting that client base of people who know you and trust you and know what your work is, that they come back to you again and again. And once you can get retaining clients, it's just
it changes the
it works
game.
for itself then.
Yeah.
You just have to go and do it again. You don't need to be. Also, you still need to network, but you don't need to be forcing the networking as much. If that makes sense.
That's what I mean. You just end up just chatting to people.
That's what I mean. It's once you get those first few games, then you're fine. You're cooking.
Yeah.
You're cooking, as they say. Yes, people, ad read time. Massive thank you to today's sponsor of the podcast, Antidote Studios. Antidote are probably one of the newest clothing brands on the scene at the minute, absolutely tearing it up. They just had their first drop sell out, actually, which is pretty impressive if you ask me. They've got another drop coming up soon, and I heard a little rumour that it's going to be tracksuits. Tune in for that one. If you want to follow Antidote, follow them on Instagram. Their ats will be on the screen right now. Drop them a follow, drop them a like. It will really help us. Back onto the pod.
So editing.
Yep. Talk to me.
I'd never done any type of editing in my life. Let's be real. I'd never done any editing ever.
See, we were different in that sense because I had a very brief, and I mean a very brief experience, but I did some kind of graphic designs and video editing when I was younger, of gaming clips and graphics, like thumbnails for YouTube videos, etc., just for a bit of extra cash here and there. But in terms of actual Lightroom, because that is what we're going to focus on, because that is,
yes,
I'd say if you're a photographer, you need to use Lightroom. I would genuinely, if you don't use Lightroom, I don't know how you would cope.
If you don't know, get to know, because I'm not being funny. Yeah. Lightroom is the essential 100%. For not taking pictures, but making your pictures look as clean as they look. 100%. You need Lightroom.
But you can tell when someone edits their picture and when someone doesn't.
Yeah, as a photographer.
That's what I mean. And there's nothing against people who don't get me wrong. Like, you can still take a really good photo and not use Lightroom. But I feel like it does just give you that extra edge on people who don't edit. And I feel like everyone at the top of the game does use Lightroom. So obviously you have like the people who send it off to newspapers and stuff who don't. But anyone who posts on Instagram or does paid work for clients will edit their pictures.
Yeah.
And it's more just for kind of colouring and sharpness and everything along those lines that it's just super helpful and it just changes the image.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be super complex. It is just a case of like cropping it down a little bit, sharpening the edges a little bit, making the kit stand out a little bit more.
And it's the masking, I think. The masking is, so people who haven't used Lightroom before, you can, well, how do I explain this? Blimey, we're going into a rabbit hole now. So masking, so you can add a mask onto a person, so it will select the person, and then you can duplicate and invert that mask that it does mask the background as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So if that makes sense, so then you have a section to edit the person, so the player, and then you have a section to edit the background. Is the simplest way I can explain that. And so then you can obviously make the background lighter, darker, colder, hotter, more colorized, less colorized, grainy, not grainy, etc., etc. And the same with the player, and you can kind of up the texture and the detail and the sharpness of the player, which just, it makes the image quality look a lot better than it is. You can get away with a lot of images that aren't up to par by doing that, I guess.
Yeah, but I would say being able to mask things separately is insane, because the amount of pictures where if you couldn't do that, you'd be trying to like add texture to the player. Yeah. And then it would make the background way too grainy or way too, and it would just ruin it. Yeah. So masking is like a lifesaver.
100%. I think as you progress as a photographer, if you can learn Lightroom as you go, so then by the time you're ready to build a proper portfolio from free work that you've done, you've got the Lightroom to then go back and edit those old images that you want in your portfolio, and you can edit them so your portfolio looks as clean as possible. So then when you're going to these brands and these clubs and these players, you can go, look, here's my work. And obviously they don't know that you've just edited that. So you can make it look how you want, basically, when you want to send that portfolio off, and you can re-edit images and change them as you want and as you go. But Lightroom is a given. You have, I mean, don't get me wrong, don't take it as gospel. If you don't want to use it, don't use it. But I would say in our journey, I've learned that Lightroom is a must-have for us. For us, Lightroom is a must-have, 100%. And there's other softwares out there that we haven't really explored and we haven't looked into, etc. I know there is, but
so you got like Photoshop.
Exactly, that's what I mean. But for actual sports photography, Lightroom is 100% the go-to, 100%. You can ask any sports photographer, and I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 will use Lightroom or will have used Lightroom.
Lightroom is not all that complex. The way we've just explained it makes it really complex.
Yeah.
I promise you it's not complex. There are hundreds of YouTube videos that we have sat and watched to help you. It's not as hard as it sounds, but it is, in my opinion, a must-have. Even if you're just literally doing the slightest edit, it's something I would really recommend you have if you're seriously wanting your pictures to look super good.
100%. And when you first open Lightroom, it does look a bit like, whoa.
It looks a bit like daunting.
What is all of this?
What are all these buttons?
Exactly. But even if you start editing pictures without the masking, and you get the basics down of the texture and the sharpness and everything like that, everything else then comes with it, with all the colorizing and the color correction and all of the sliders and everything like that, which we don't even know everything about. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm a Lightroom expert. We don't know everything yet.
No, yeah, and I mean, for the first good amount of months,
this is what I mean. It's,
you know, we didn't do masking until months in.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
100%. But this is just what we've learned from that. And I think if I could take something, if I had watched a podcast when we'd started and I could have learned one thing, I reckon it would have been how to use Lightroom. And why I should be using Lightroom.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it would have changed my photography when we first started if I'd known to use Lightroom from the start. Right, now the photo showcase, the moment a lot of you have probably been waiting for, as you've seen on the Instagram stories from myself, BA Media, and you. Every podcast we will be showcasing pictures sent in by photographers here, there, everywhere, big, small, just starting, been doing it for 50 years, whatever, right? We ask you to send in pictures that you've taken, sports, landscape, anything, and let us know what kit it was shot on. And Amy will be reacting.
I haven't seen any of these yet.
Are you ready?
I think so.
We've got some bangers today.
All right, I'm ready.
We've got some good.
How many have we got? A couple.
We've got. Let me check. We have got. Bear with. We've got 4.
All right.
Are
Okay.
you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Right. So this first one is from Mitch Davidson. At Mitch Davidson Photography on Instagram. I'll put the @ on the screen now. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're starting off with a good one.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
There you are. What do you think?
Let me see.
Take it. Have a look.
I like it. We love a celebration picture. Exactly. We love a celebration.
It's always a winner, isn't it?
I like it. That's good. I like it.
That was shot on a Canon 1DX and a 2.8 70-200. The fact he's got that at night in a night game as well is actually really impressive, because night game, especially celebrations when they come so close out the floodlights, it's a pain.
It's a pain. So, no, that's good. I like that a lot.
Photo number 2. Are we ready? This one is coming from Junior Paradot. I actually met Junior at Golf to Gosh. Lovely bloke. That's at junior.shots on Insta. That's JNR. I'll put the @ on the screen again. Are you ready? This is more of a landscape. This isn't a sports one, but
okay.
This is pitch perfect.
Okay.
Pitch perfect. Are you ready?
Yeah.
There you go. There's a reveal.
Oh wow.
What are we thinking? Oh wow.
Wow.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's what we're thinking. My reaction as well.
Oh my god. I'm very impressed.
That's good, isn't it?
That's really good.
That is unreal.
And like even the people in the background, that's really good.
Everything about that's perfect, isn't it?
That's so good.
When I saw that, I thought everything kind of aligned for him there, isn't it?
That's really good.
You can't get it much more.
As someone who grew up taking landscape pictures, that's really good.
Yeah.
I really like that one.
No, I like that one too. That's good, isn't it? It's good.
That's good.
That was taken on a Canon 4000D with a 55 to 200mm Canon lens.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Lovely.
I'd say he's cooked.
Cooked. Very good.
Right, we've got number 3 here. This is from Louis. At LW_media with a 1 instead of an I on Instagram. Once again, put the @ on the screen. For all of you visual viewers, that's on Instagram. This is an action shot. This is what you call an action shot. This is the creme de la creme of action shots. Are you ready?
Ooh, okay.
Are you steady? There you go. The reveal. What are we thinking?
I like it. I mean, we love an action shot.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, that's perfect. Back to the player. Acrobatic little pose.
I like that a lot.
I mean, the basics on that photo are perfect, aren't they? And that's what makes a good photo.
Yeah.
I think that is
simple but effective. I like it.
Nailed that.
Yeah. No, really good.
Yeah. I think
Straight action. I love it.
Exactly. Lovely. Right.
Good one.
Fourth and final photo. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you steady? Because I tell you what,
Are we going out with a bang?
we're going out with a bang. We're going out with the bang.
All right.
The bang. This is the bang.
The bang? Okay.
Bang.
Okay, I'm ready.
This is from Harvey Murphy at hmphotography.18. I'd never seen his page before until he sent this in. However, I've had a look, dropped it a follow
Ooh, okay.
because I'm impressed. This is very good. Are you ready?
Okay.
I think you're gonna like this one. This is like a you photo. This is like a you photo. This is for Tottenham Hotspur Academy at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Crikey.
Yeah, we're talking big time. We're talking big time. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. Lots going on. Nice.
Lots going on. Again, celebration.
Looks to me like a last minute.
Got everyone in it. Maybe a goalkeeper. Really good.
Yeah. That
really,
is,
really good.
I like it. I really like that one. It's one of those. I think the crop for that one is perfect because you don't want it too wide. You want to keep it nice and busy and keep the focus on the pure emotion in that image.
Yeah. Everyone's together. You can see the emotion. Like how happy they are.
No, 100%.
I like it.
You like it?
I'm happy with them. I like them all. I've approved.
No, Thank you to everyone that sent them in. You've got Amy's approval, all of you. I mean, that is difficult to come by. I don't get that most of the time on my pictures, so congratulations.
He's lying.
If you would like to send them in for the next pod, we will be doing it again. We'll be doing it every single podcast. Mm-hmm. If you could, please send them in to our Instagram at BA Media Studios. Just drop us a DM. We're nice and friendly. We don't bite.
Anything you want. Landscape, animals, sports,
any sport.
Anything you fancy.
Any photo.
Cars if you want.
Amy's approval, or it might be my approval next time. But my approval is a bit more easier to get. I'm a bit more lenient, so.
I'm not a horrible person, I swear.
No, yeah, Amy's lovely. But yeah, thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone who sent pictures in. We really appreciate it. Send them in for the next episode. As I say, go drop everyone who sent their pictures in a like, follow, maybe a nice message, give them some good feedback. Say congratulations on getting Amy's approval.
God.
I mean, just well done.
Well done. I'm happy with them. So I would say that we are now busier than we've ever been. I mean, I'm doing, how many games a week?
About 3 to 4 a week, yeah.
3 or 4.
Paid games, that is as well.
Yeah, so I'm doing 3 to 4 paid games, and then obviously the rest of my time editing, uploading, sending them off, basically. Which is ridiculous to think about, because, like I said, I've been doing this since I was, 6?
Yeah.
So to be doing this full time is an insane thing to say. I mean, seriously, crazy.
Yeah.
But I think it's great. I mean, the freedom that we have, because obviously this is our full-time job, and obviously it's serious. We take it seriously.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have so much free time as well, we can be social. Obviously, it's half term. I can spend time with my sister, and we can, do you know what I mean, do all this stuff. It's just crazy.
100%. I mean, like I said earlier, it doesn't feel like a job. It feels almost like you're getting paid to do a hobby.
Yeah. So I'm doing a game today.
And exactly, that's what I mean. It is. I mean, you can tell by the smile on both our faces.
Literally, because how happy we are.
Exactly, it's what I mean. It is a lovely, and it is a blessing to be in this situation. I mean, we're not taking it for granted.
No, I feel very lucky. But it's just
100%. But we are just getting started, though. I mean, we're very aware it's nowhere near. I mean, we're ahead of schedule, but this isn't anywhere near where we want to be. If that makes sense, like we're in a good place in a minute, and a very good place for how long we'll be doing next. What we started in February.
Yeah, and it's now
October.
End of October. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just, we're so far ahead of schedule, but we're nowhere near where we plan to be and where we're going to be. We're looking at bringing on some more people at the minute, onto the agency, which will be good, allowing us to bring on that extra bit of work which we've been requested and had to turn down at the minute. Which, like I say, I mean, it's one of the better problems to have, isn't it? It's exactly, but I'd much rather be turning down work than not having enough. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been a mad journey so far. Ups, downs, everything in between. It's just been mad. What's that now? So that's 3 agreements season long. For the first proper full season that we've been doing. lots of individual work coming through. And I mean, we appreciate everyone that's given us the opportunity to capture their games, capture them. Honestly, just thank you to everyone who's supported us so far. It's been crazy. But yeah, I mean, I'm for the podcast now as well.
Podcast, that's crazy.
What are we doing? It's crazy, isn't it? It's mad. But I mean, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. Have you enjoyed it?
I've loved it.
Yeah,
like I said, I've wanted to do this my whole life. So this is ridiculous.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. But
so crazy.
I mean, I hope you lot have enjoyed as well. I hope you've enjoyed.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you've made it this far, comment potato to let us know.
Follow our socials.
Exactly.
I'm at Photos by Her.
And I'm at Benz.vision. Follow at BA Media Studios as well. And at Shutter Talk Pod on Instagram for the podcast. All of the latest clips, updates, stories.
We're going to be doing more of these, so stay tuned.
Exactly. Lots of guests lined up to come on. If you're interested in coming on the podcast and you're an upcoming photographer, please let us know. Drop us a line. We'd be
us a message.
Happy to have you on. Hear what you have to say. Hear your journey. What you know. What you have to teach. Everything.
If there's anything you want us to talk about,
let us
drop
know.
a message. I would say the podcast Instagram. Drop it a little DM.
But if you want a little personal touch, you want to speak to me, speak to Amy, drop it on those Instagrams that we just said. We'd be happy to hear from you. But yeah,
absolutely.
I've been Ben. She's been Amy. This has been the Shutter Talk Pod. It's been lovely to host you, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.